I can see you. Can you see me?
Yeah.
What's going on, man? How you been?
Eating some soup, dude.
Soup is good, man. What kind of soup you eating?
I don't know because my jaw is inflamed, so I really can't eat anything.
I'm sorry to hear that.
It's life, you know?
Yeah. So, what have you been up to lately, bro? It's been a while.
It has been a while, man. I've been in I was in New York and then now I'm in Los Angeles. I got there in June.
Oh, nice, nice.
Yeah.
So, when you come back to Canada and stuff, you have to quarantine for 2 weeks and go through all that.
Well, I am. I'm in Toronto. I got here on Saturday, so I
Oh, you said you're in
quarantined.
Toronto. My bad.
Yeah,
I thought
till
you
the
said New York.
26th. So I have to stay I'm inside now. Well, I've been inside since Saturday.
hmm So, bro, like I'm recording the meeting now, so we'll
Yeah.
probably just kind of get into it. So obviously you've been doing your thing, or you've been a comedian now for it has to be 10 years. I could have swore I went to
Longer.
one of your first shows at Yuck Yucks downtown Windsor.
Yeah,
Off
dude, it's
top of
been like I'm 40, so I started when I was like 20 maybe,
that's
22 or
crazy.
something like that in that's when you probably saw me or in college probably.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. Obviously, you've come a long way. I
Yeah.
mean, with the Juno Awards, the Mr. D, Rami is a huge hit. I know, like a lot of my boys, watch Rami. You guys finished 2 seasons of that,
Yeah.
so a lot of big things going on. Do you have any shows lined up in the area? I mean, I don't
No,
really know people are doing comedy like that, but
it's tough right now because like some pockets are doing stuff inside,
mhm,
and some aren't. So it's like really tough right now. Nothing really concrete.
mhm.
I came for a job here, but I don't really can't I think say anything, excuse me, about it just yet.
Don't worry about that. But yeah, man. So I thought it'd be cool to have you on on Ozzy and the Pro. I do a podcast with a local fighter from Windsor named TJ Laramie. I'm sure you've heard of him too.
Yep.
So recently he just got he was on the Contender Series and he had an amazing performance. Dana White was giving him big respect on the show and he got a UFC contract. So he's actually fighting this Saturday in Vegas at UFC Fight Night. So he's on a really amazing card. UFC is one of the few sporting events that's kind of like endured during COVID, and they were like the
Yep.
first ones to get going again and stuff. How many street fights have you been in, Dave? What's your
Mm,
record on the street?
shit, I don't know, man. Since before I got glasses, so I was 14 years old. Before I got glasses, I'd always fight, dude. I remember my cousins would come up to me. My cousin Rob, I remember one time he's like, "Yo, this guy, from what I can, yeah, he's like, I think this guy is messing with or whatever the case was." But I was always ready to fight, and I would fight this kid, Billy Armstrong, and then I think it was Billy, and then I remember Billy disappeared for a while. And then he came back, but I think he got bigger. And then he was like, "Yo, you still want to go?" But
You're like,
I was
nah, bro, I
so
was just kidding.
I was so scared. I was like, I ain't gonna. And then I think the last fight I got into, man, was in college when I was with Hugo, who's a mutual friend of ours. I don't even know if I could, say this. I get whatever now it's already said, but we were downtown. We were walking downtown Windsor. It was raining, and there was we saw like some people dancing. I guess we just stopped and we were just looking and stuff like that. And then the dude punched Hugo and goes, "There's nothing to look at here."
Wow.
It was like this guy, and he was with he was with a little person. It was this group that we didn't know they were like together at all. And like we're young, we're just
hmm
staring, we're just looking, And then but the best part is when they hit Hugo. Hugo like kind of like it didn't. I don't know if he was drunk, but it didn't really phase him. I just remember Hugo kind of looking at his like touching his lip and looking up like what happened, and then commotion started to happen, and then it was raining, so I slipped. I remember their girls came in and tried to break it up, and I slipped, and I was on the ground, and one of their guys came up next to me and punched. He sat down, he bent down and punched me straight in the face. We
Damn.
were like this close. My glasses flew, and we were losing, bro. It was like maybe it felt like 7-2. One really, because now I'm on the ground, and then it's Hugo in the center of the street, squared up with this dude, and then across the street we see because Windsor is like not gigantic, but like everyone goes downtown, so you're gonna
hmm
run into your homies or people. We saw Sal Chem dude we went to high school with across the street, and Sal saw what was happening, and I'll never forget it. He started to scream. He goes, ah, and like ran across the street and did a Liu Kang Mortal Kombat kick and kicked that guy. And then when he kicked him, that kid dropped, and then Sal landed in the center of the street, and he was just like, ah, like he did this kind of like a victory lap, almost like when you score a touchdown, you do a dance, and it broke everything up. People started to scatter because they were like, who the fuck is this guy?
Mm.
So I would say Sal kind of saved us there. And I remember I saw Sal. He's out in the East Coast at he came to a comedy show, and I told him that story. He didn't react like how I thought he would react. He goes, "Oh," I was like, "I thought it was." I still remember it, dude. And that was in college. That was like I think the last I want to say street fight I was involved in.
Bro, it's so funny. You obviously I've heard that one too at one of your one of your stand-ups in Windsor, and then the other one with your dad is also epic too. So.
That's and then I think I broke up a scuffle once when a homie was fighting. And then the other ones, I started to develop like bad anxiety when stuff like that gets down. Like I started to get like fully panic attacks in my chest that I never had when I was young. Like I just was like, I can't do this anymore. Like I guess it's more fear, or maybe I was always scared and I just was a kid and didn't know. But now as an adult, when a fight breaks, I think I'd be the guy that's like. I am the guy that's like, hey, can we tone down? Like I'm always investigating who went wrong here to get out of the fight.
Yeah, I have to literally, Dave, like I have to walk away from fights because I find like I get sometimes too excited and I'll run towards something. Like I remember in Detroit one time there was a fight and I probably shouldn't have been even close to the action. I like ran in and then I got stuck behind the table. And these guys are just like almost killing each other. And I was like, man, this is not smart. Like I'm at an age now where I need to just walk away from, because you could get hit with a punch. I mean, like it's so much that can happen.
I like because my little brothers can fight, right? My two brothers, they can fight. Like they don't have that. They have I think they have what my dad has, that no fear, right? Mm-hmm. And I worry about them because they don't back down.
Right. Yeah, they'll eventually calm down too. I was like that for a couple of years, and downtown Windsor was like the spot for trouble to find you. You could be walking with your friends, and like you said, Hugo just got sucker punched, right? Like stuff like that would always happen. We'd always be running from this and that. But it's downtown Windsor for you, bro.
Yeah, no, I know. I grew up in that shit, so I know.
Especially, I remember like pre 9/11, bro. Do you remember how packed the streets used to be? It used to be boiling with people, bro. You couldn't walk. Like
you would see cops come out of nowhere and just chuck people in the walls. That's what I remember.
Yeah, man. I had seen a lot of police brutality downtown.
Yeah, it was wild. I remember. Yeah, so before 9/11, we saw it.
Yeah, bro. So I want your fight predictions for this upcoming fight. So what else?
Dude, I watched the last two events though on my laptop. My boy's into it, so the last two events, he's like, "Yo, you just jump on right now. We'll watch them together." Like, but he was in Toronto, I was in LA, so I still don't know anything. But I mean, I could try.
So yeah, so you obviously don't have a lot of knowledge about UFC, but you watch it from time to time.
Yeah, I just know the main ones, like obviously Connor and what's his name, he doesn't fight anymore, but the Canadian guy,
GSP.
Yeah, and then who's the guy? I like the dude that beat Connor. I just think he's a psychopath. Yeah, in a good way. Like,
so he's actually he's from Dagestan, and actually before Turkey, my family came from there. So I have like an affinity to There's a lot of fighters coming from that region right now, so I'm like big into them. And actually, one of there's a Chechnyan fighter actually on the card too. So that'll be an exciting fight. What I'll do is I'm gonna share my screen and just show you because I figure if I just ask you, you might not. Let me just see if I can pull this off. Yeah.
No, this is exciting. I like this.
Okay, bro. So let me know if you can see my screen.
I see it right now.
Perfect. So what we have here is we have Colby Covington. So this is the main card. I'm only gonna go through I'm gonna ask you your predictions for 2 or 3 fights, and then I'll ask you, obviously, TJ Laramie, like I said, our co-host is also fighting on this card. So, I'll ask you how you think that's going to happen. So, again, this is Saturday, September 19th, UFC Apex in Vegas. So Colby Covington, I don't know if you've seen this guy, but he's kind of a comedian himself, bro. This guy wears a mega hat and he's always like talking shit. And have you seen this guy?
He wears a what? A mega hat?
A mega hat, and he's just like pro Trump, and he's just really like kind of like just talk shit to everybody. But it's gotten him like it's paid off for him because I'm pretty sure the UFC was about to cut him at one time, and then he started gaining popularity. So a lot of fighters, like you even see Connor and other fighters talking shit, and when they when they win,
Yeah.
talking shit, they start getting So he's that guy. He's like the wheel kind of.
You know what? You know what? I don't want to make it political, but you know what I love about the mega hat is like the people that wear it, you for sure know. What makes me funny about the mega hat is like if those people crossed Trump at like a hotel and there was like those club lines where like they wouldn't get in. Like Trump is such a rich person that he'd even be like, no. The best.
Bro, you're right. You're right for the average person, but like the UFC's growing popularity, actually, I just seen it on Instagram. So there was some sort of convention in Vegas, and Ali Abdulaziz, which is the manager of Habib and a lot of the big fighters, Colby Covington, Justin Gaethje, Henry Cejudo, all these fighters got to meet Trump. So they're all like have these pictures with Trump, and so because Dana White like fucks with Trump heavy, right?
Yeah.
So
it's just again, I don't, people's political views is like hilarious because it divides people, obviously. But it's just funny to me, like when you see videos of these people and you're like, this guy don't give a shit. This guy. It just would be like that club scene where you'd be like, yo, Tony, remember me? And he'd be like, yeah, you're not coming in. You gonna talk to my girls? You dirty ass motherfucker. You're not talking to my girls. You got like army boots on and like mustard on your shirt. You ain't popping bottles.
Well, this is why I love comedy, though, man. Like, I not to retract from the fight, but like I feel like comedians have a license to say way more than anybody else and get away with it. You know what I mean? So you could talk about shit on both sides, and you could like literally, it's almost like modern day philosophers,
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the dope thing about being a comedian. You could toe those lines and play with those lines. But this guy, I wasn't gonna pick this guy because of the MAGA thing. I'm not even that. I'm just saying I don't know why Colby doesn't sit well with me. Like the name, like I just don't want that name to win a fight. Like I feel like Colby will get knocked out. And then this guy, the other guy, looks bigger in how the circle thing.
Yeah,
he just feels bigger to me.
So I'll give you a little bit more context. So Colby has actually been on a tear. He's only lost 2 fights in history, and he fought his last fight against the welterweight champion Kamaru Usman, and it was a crazy war, bro. Like they were going back and forth, and the fight got stopped in the 5th round due to TKO for Kamaru Usman, who's the current champion. Tyrone Woodley was the champ for a while. Like he has 5 losses, but he was the champ for a couple of years.
Okay,
I believe so. Like 2 exciting fighters, but Tyron Woodley's coming off 2 losses in a row.
Yeah.
And Covington's coming off 1 loss, but before that, he was almost like he was pretty dominant of a fighter, So just giving you some context. So
I appreciate the context. I'm still gonna go with the other guy because I think growing up in Windsor, if I knew a Colby, we never fucked with the Colby. He was probably from Forest Glade or something like that. You'd be like,
man, I grew up in Forest Glade. Shout out to Forest Glade.
No, I know. I've been down there a bunch, bro. I know the little plaza over there and shit. I know that.
But I started doing something different when I pick fights now. I actually pick on like logic instead of emotion.
Yeah.
So from an emotional perspective, or like, both of these guys I don't really care too much about, but I want Tyron Woodley to win. But I think Colby will win. He's just more like, just because Woodley's coming off 2 losses, he showed a lot of kind of vulnerability in the fight game. And so I'm gonna go with Colby with this because I usually kind of give my picks too, but I can see what you mean. I totally want him to lose. So,
but I also feel like if you do come from I feel like if you lost twice, that 3rd loss, I feel can make or break you. Like you're like like a 2nd loss, I feel like you're like, well, I can probably get over this hump. But a 3rd one, I think for your self-esteem, it might be more damaging. So I think
you're right.
This guy might come maybe with more. He might have like more to lose. So I feel like he might come in swinging hard. I don't know. That's how if I lost 2, I'd be like, I cannot lose this
It's
third
do
one.
or die, basically, right? Like it's
Yeah.
because I mean, after if you go off on like a 3-fight losing streak, 4-fight losing streak, then you could get cut even from your contract, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
so I'm going to him emotionally, and then now that I think about it logic, I'm still gonna stick with him.
I like it. I like your pick. So, so the co-main event is also welterweight. So Donald Cerrone, they call him Cowboy. He's probably one of the
Oh
most.
yeah.
Yeah. He's been around forever. So he's got, I think, the most head kick knockouts. I could be wrong, but he has a lot of knockouts, submissions. But I think he's just taking way too much damage, bro. This guy, like, it's hard to watch sometimes. You know, the damage.
Is his eye? Was that for real?
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, he fought Tony Ferguson, and both of his eyes, he looked like you've probably seen that on the internet.
So he's all right though now, right?
He's all right now. Yeah.
When you say take the damage to the head, is it mentally he's not well? You're saying it's hard to watch, or just hard to watch him get hit?
It's hard to it's like, I mean, you know, with all like kind of the knowledge now about CTE and brain trauma, right? It's like some of these you can't recover from that, and it's cumulative. So it's not like you get hit and then you rest and it goes away. No, you're like building on, you know, brain trauma and stuff. And so, like, just when you hear these fighters talk, some of them you can tell already that, you know, with all due respect, like, he's one of the most decorated fighters ever. You know, he's a stud, but and he'll fight anybody, anywhere, anytime, any weight class. Like, he's a beauty like that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna give it to Nico Price in this, just because I think Cerrone like just has taken way too much damage in his career.
What's 1NS mean? Sorry.
No contest.
That's so, what, like,
it could
be
a
draw?
It could be no, it's usually like a fight. If it's it could be somebody who took steroids, they found out and they made a test. It could be a disqualification early round. So yeah, that's they each have one no contest each. So
I think I'm gonna go with Cowboy because one, I'll give an emotional, like, you know, I guess with Nico, I feel like anytime I met a Nico, he was selling me cocaine. I wasn't doing the coke, but I feel like someone's like, yeah, Nico's coming by with the ecstasy. I feel like Nico has that, or
Nico's
you know, or Nico owns like a flower, or some, I don't know, but like, I guess Cowboy, from what I saw, he just like, I don't know, man. There's something about fighting anywhere at any time. Do you know what I mean? Like, I guess he's got the head trauma or whatever, but I mean, like, fighting that fearfulness. I don't know. I that to me intrigues me, and I'm gonna go with him.
Yeah. And I mean, like, he doesn't have, but like, I should kind of preface it. He doesn't have CTE, or he may not even have. You know, I'm just like seeing all of his fights throughout history. The dude's fought a lot of people, and is like, I mean, he's taken a lot of damage. You look at that record, 36-15. Like,
that's a lot, yeah. Well, his interviews are dude, anytime you're like the Cowboy, anyone who calls himself a cowboy, you know they're ready to fuck shit up.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure he chugged the beer at the press conference.
So. Yeah, it's not like he's like, it's Donald the gardener. You know what I mean? This is like a guy called Cowboy. So he's like, yeah, man, I'll do anything. So I'm going with the Cowboy.
All right. So this is the last fight that I'll ask your opinion on, and then we'll go to kind of TJ. But so this is a middleweight fight. So this guy, Hamzat Chimaev, so he's a Chechen-born fighter. So this he trains out of Sweden. He's 8-0. He had 2 fights in UFC. So in UFC, you see welterweight, middleweight, light heavyweight. So welterweight is 185, and middleweight is 185, and welterweight is 170, right? So there are different weight classes, and these guys probably walk around like, if you're a middleweight at 185, you're probably walking around like 215, 220.
Yeah.
You know, like, you're a big guy. And so he fought one fight at middleweight, I think he dominated the whole fight. Like, it was so bad. And then he fought another guy at welterweight a week later. So he set a UFC record, and this was just a week ago, or no, not a week ago. Sorry, like about a month ago. And so there's a lot of hype around this.
So he fought in 2 different divisions?
Sorry. Bro, 2 different, in like 10 days. He fought in 2 different divisions. And he only took 2 punches to like 168 landed.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so he's a beast. He's got hype behind him. Now, those guys aren't as tough as opponent as Gerald Meerschaert, who's also a stud. Like, that guy's, right? And he's a big, So because this guy fought at welterweight and middleweight, he's not a huge middleweight, but Gerald Meerschaert is, right. So this is going to be a true challenge for him. So it's his first like big challenge. But the guy, like Hamza Chimaev just looked flawless. You know, he's looked flawless. So I'm going with my my fellow Kafka's countryman here. I think if he wins this fight, and the other thing that's crazy about this, Dave, is Dana White has never promised two fights in a row in like 2 weeks. So he's actually promised him this fight, and if he wins this fight, he's fighting like 2 weeks later again, which is insane. Like the UFC never done that.
Does that?
But
why don't they do that?
Because it's just like people take way too much damage. You know, like they're cutting weight, so it's like hard on their body. But because I think he's taking this fight at a higher weight class, his next fight will be, I believe, at welterweight. So, you know, like 2 weight cuts, and he won't have to cut a lot of weight from it. But if he just dominates like he has the other 2 fights and takes no damage, I mean, he'll be ready to fight. But you never see that. Like you seldom see that, right?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna take that guy too, because one, you know, I feel he might be close to Middle Eastern. Being Lebanese, I'm gonna take him just off that. Sorry, Gerald. Is it Gerald or
Gerald? Yeah.
Gerald as well sounds like I love names for some odd reason. I know they don't like define you, but I mean Gerald is hilarious. Like, you know, I feel if like someone's like, I fucked one of these guys as girls and someone's like, Gerald is coming over, I'd be like, okay, I can talk with Gerald. But if the other guy showed up, I'm leaving. I'm like, one, I don't know how to pronounce his name. The second part, he's gonna destroy me. But I mean, like, from what you said, 8-0. Is he younger?
I think he's younger. He
looks younger in the pictures.
Yeah. He was a wrestling champion too. Like, he has a really strong wrestling pedigree, which a lot of people from that area has. And he trains with like Alexander Gustafsson and like a lot of those guys in Sweden. So he's been working on his stand up too. Other guy too is good on the ground, good with his stand up. It's going to be a tough fight, I think, but I'm going with my guy. And if he wins this fight, this guy is going to be the next superstar. Like, what he's doing is unprecedented, right? Like,
so I'm going to go with him. Sorry, Gerald. Yeah, sorry, buddy. And Gerald's like picture, he looks tired. I don't know if he is.
Yes, bro. Guy looks like he worked 65 hours construction. So I'm going to go to just real quick. So the second fight of the night is actually TJ Laramie. We see here, who's 12-3-0 versus Derek Minner. And so for this fight, I mean, we're obviously going with the hometown boy, and he's, TJ. He's I've actually been to a lot of his fights in Windsor, London, and I've watched the last couple. Like, I've watched the one on the Contender Series. So TJ Laramie has like a really well-rounded style. So he's good on his feet. He's amazing grappler, good wrestler, you know. So he poses a threat, I think, to a lot of fighters. And this Derek Minner guy, I don't really know too much about him. I didn't watch too much tape on him, but he's somewhat similar to the last opponent that TJ fought, I'd say, kind of in their style. And TJ won that fight. The guy was unable to continue by the second round. So obviously, I'm gonna go with a second round stoppage.
I'm going with TJ too because he's from Windsor. What part of Windsor?
I think he's on the east side.
He's an east side boy? Okay. What high school did he go to? Do we know?
I don't know. I think he's like kind of Riverside-ish area.
Okay, yeah. Still, you know, I don't know if he went to CCH. That's all. If he was a Comet. But I'm gonna go with him, dude. Anytime, also too, to go back to names, you got TJ. Like, you know, BJ Penn, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers don't play around. If they just got 2 initials.
I love your criteria of picking, bro. I have a feeling that, you know, it would go beyond, obviously, like, you know, actually looking at the fighters or anything. So that's an interesting.
No, it's like funny whenever I see a guy's name like Derek, if I'm used to not seeing it how it's spelled, I'm writing you off. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, you should get knocked out because of that. So no, but I don't know, the way you described it to me, I'm gonna go with TJ. Even outside of just being from the same city, it just like it feels, not that the other guy, I don't know if they're both hungry, obviously, but TJ looks. You know, the way you said it to me, I'm gonna go with that. Just the energy off of your energy.
Oh yeah, no, like even like looking at this logically, I mean, TJ's been training in Vegas too at the Performance Institute. Like he's getting a lot of different looks. He was in, you know, he was all over Canada training in BC and I think it was Winnipeg, all over Ontario. And, you know, like I said, he's in Vegas training with some UFC guys. So, I mean, yeah, I think he's got a lot of experience. He's getting a lot of looks. He's working on the ground game. So, yeah, I mean, even just from a logical perspective without being biased, which I am, he's still going to win the fight.
Good, yeah. Dude, when you train in Winnipeg, though, that's all you have is training. Ain't nobody going to Winnipeg to do anything else, I feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting city, man. I went there once and it was like I just, you know, like it's just cities are about vibes, right? And the time, like I just got weird vibes from some of the people. It was late at night and we were looking for a hotel, so who knows?
Yeah, yeah, it's not. I've been there a bunch. I dated a woman from there. It's all right. It's nothing. It's nothing where I'm like I need to be there for like a month or so. You know what I mean? Like it's cool for what it is. But yeah, it's like, and then people that love it are always like, man, you got to really check out the folk scene or the music scene. I'm like, okay.
I feel like some of the outskirts of those places are beautiful. You know, like just kind of.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, like the city itself. I mean, yeah, I have no comment. I went there once. It was like 2 a.m. You know, we slept there and then dipped. So. I didn't really get to see too much of it, but man, I appreciate your time, bro. This was
I had a good time. I didn't know what to expect. I you know, I'm gonna watch though for sure. Thank you for letting me know. Like I told you the last 2 fights, so I'm gonna really watch this.
Actually, you know, like I want to get people's predictions. So in the future too, you know, if you start getting into it a little bit more, love to hear your thoughts, and you know, you can even just kind of send me a video or whatever, and then I can kind of put it onto some of our shows. But yeah, it's good.
Dude.
Good to get an outside perspective, and yeah, we'll see how you picked 4 fights.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna let you know how you did next time.
I'm gonna watch. Because I'm quarantined here, so I'm gonna watch. So I got.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, and just so you know, the TJ's fight is a little bit earlier. So this is 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So he's the second fight. So
can you send me that text too to remind me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll message you the day out, bro. Don't worry.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yo, it's been fun, man. It's good to
fun, bro.
We'll have to catch up with Hugo. And,
yeah, I'll be there in December. I'll be in Windsor in December for the month.
Perfect.
Okay, bro.
All right, brother. Good seeing you.